Welcome back to the realistic road to glory here on FC24. You guys will already see from the title that we might have discovered someone. By might, I mean we absolutely bloody have, and my youth scout has come out with an absolute baller. So, don't really want to wait around, really, do I? I could elongate this out and be like, oh, show you him later in the stream. No, come on. Oh, Romania have just gone 1-0 up against Ukraine in the 29th minute. Go on, the Romanians! Right, youth player. He's 65 bloody rated. Kirk Henderson. He's come as a centre-back. However, considering he has a 5-star weak foot by default, and his short passing is his best technical attribute, I am going to change him, and he has CDM as a secondary position. We are going to change him to a CDM. Kirk Henderson will, after January, because if I call him up before January, I'll get bids from him in January, and I'll have to end up selling him, won't I? At least this way we'll end up being able to utilise him for at least the end of this second season before we get promoted. If we get promoted. We hope to get promoted. So I will call Kirk up. We made the rule that we will only sign youth players up once they turn 17. By the way, it's a hell of a bloody goal for Romania as well. We will only call youth players up once they turn 17. Kirk has come in as a 17-year-old. So he will get called up on February the 1st at midnight 01. And he will come straight probably into the starting lineup ahead of Jordan Cousins. He was valued at £1.8 million when we saw him come through the youth scout system. Absolute belter. Both Jordan Cousins and Paul Digby both only have 1 year remaining on their current contracts as well. So their future at the club was in doubt anyway, especially if we get promoted. And well, I think it might well now be sealed for one of them at least moving forward. But moving forward in game, we have Northampton today to start, local derby, then Wigan, who are obviously on paper, again, one of the best sides in the league, but they're bottom of the table right now. Blackpool will be the other one that we play today. We'll sim the middle three of Lincoln away, Swindon at home, and then Orient at home in the Cup. We're also saying thank you to you guys for your continued support in the comment section as well. Thank you very much indeed to Sean, who's just joined the Patreon VIP tier. Very good of him. Austin as well, thank you for your comment in the comment section. And Trevor, it was your birthday the other day, and we said thank you to you in the moment in the comment section for your birthday, popping you up there on the board as well. Northampton still with Apere up top, and Hoskins is still here despite his obvious quality. 18th place in the league though. The whole squad aren't showing a massive amount of quality, but they're safe and not necessarily threatened with the relegation at the moment, which I'm sure Northampton fans would quite happily take at this stage of the season. We will not change much at all, I don't think, from the last episode or the last game. Jules is now up to 65, which is good to see him growing. Zeno, I believe, has peaked. Almost all of the squad has peaked at this stage, which is a shame, but hopefully it helps us prioritise certain players in certain areas, like Diabate over Zeno, etc. Even though Zeno was a real-life Cambridge player and was most improved player last year, if we can improve, then we can improve. But he hasn't shown any sign of being dropped at the minute. Zeno, he's not put in a poor performance that would make me say, I'm going to drop you. So, whilst he still performs, he's still in the 11. Let's go and get a win. Sowerby. Well in, George Thomas. Whew, nearly not so well in. Their player could quite easily have been an early red card there. Is George Nurse going to get a toe in here? I tried. He got nowhere near it. Apare is there in the middle. Here's McGowan on the underlap from fullback. McWilliams with a spin and finds Sowerby. This is dangerous. Oh, what a ball. What a save. Jack Stevens is a god. He might as well be 95 rated, not 65 rated. He's so good. Poynton with a delivery. Grieve heads, not away. Sherring's header on target. Comfortable save. Then absolutely, they will challenge this season. Oh, if I could have fed that through to George Thomas, surely he would have made it 1-0. So close at both ends of the pitch to a goal so far, but nothing yet. Might come now, though. Grieve looking for Brophy. Brophy will tuck this back, looking for George Thomas. Not the best of balls. Jordan Cousins is there. Luke Berry, bit of space. Bears, good save by Burge. Hoskins. Spread to Vargas. Still Northampton come forward, and they surely will score here. Apare does do exactly that. Top left corner, their top goal scorer this season, bags another one, and the Cobblers lead. Oh, Brophy's left him for dead. McGowan can't deal. McGowan can't deal. And the floated cross. Oh, Grieve off the post. I was just saying to Twitch chat that my strikers haven't been doing the business of late. We've not had a goal from a striker for a few games. Grieve couldn't have come much closer there, could he, really? Very, very close indeed. Probably can't get much closer to an equalising goal at the beginning of the second half. Apare probably can't get much closer to a lead extending goal at the beginning of the second half. This is going to be one of those end-to-end games in this second 45 where both sides want a goal to turn the result either back in their favour or more heavily in their favour regarding which side you support. Apare, Boynton, more heavily in their favour. 2-0 Cobblers. Can't get there. Struggling here. Oh, lovely through ball. Poynton's in again. It could be 3. Apare, great block. Vargas can't keep it in play. I think we're going to lose this one, lads. I've got nothing against Northampton here. Yes, with a throw. Brophy. Looking for Berry. Greaves on the run. On the run. Was probably offside. Oh, Brown's won that back. And Grieve is in. Alex Grieve! Birds with the save. The chance, if we take it, gives us something to fight for in the final few minutes. As it stands, we will not be fighting for anything. Brophy needs to win this. He has done, but it's not going to reach Luke Berry. We will lose here away from home against Northampton Town. We might maybe get one back, but no, still not even going to get that. And it just keeps rebounding for them. We got some luck against Wednesday to get a strong win. I wouldn't say Northampton's goals were lucky, but there have been moments in this game where they've had a firm bit of luck. Like Greaves' effort off the post. A couple of rebounds off shins in the box that have meant that we haven't been able to get a shot away. And some good saves from Burge. It's Northampton Town 2. It's Cambridge United 0. And that is not the way to start today. We had fantastic fortune with our youth scout. But the team that he's going to come into has just lost their second only league game of the season. Sees us drop to 8th, but still only a point outside the playoffs. Wigan are still bottom of the division. 24th place. 3 straight defeats. They've not won a game in the league at all so far this year. So that W there is the Bristol Street Motors trophy. They're playing Sean Clare at centre-back, who's a player that we looked at to potentially come in at right-back. Intriguing to see that they use him at centre-back, which is somewhere where we would have also used him, and probably at right mid and central midfield as well. He's a fantastic all-round squad player that we couldn't really agree a realistic contract with, which is why we didn't end up with him. They've got Tickle in goal, who's a very good goalkeeper for the level. It's a decent side, but they're obviously having a horrendous season. 6 draws, 6 defeats for Wigan so far this season. We've not been sensational ourselves, to be completely honest, but for the time being, we're going to crack on with that continued starting 11 and hopefully come away with a win this time, or at least not lose like we did against the Cobblers. He wears number 7 for them as well, Claire. Because he's so good in so many different positions, they clearly just don't know where to utilise him. He's by default a right back, but has centre back where he's clearly most effective for them, but also wears number 7, which is a winger's number. So at some point, I think I would still like to buy Sean Clare if we have the opportunity, and we might need to flesh out the rest of the squad a bit more so before we do, because I would want him to be a squad player, and obviously I can't bring him in on an important contract or more if he's only going to be a squad player for me, because it's not fair on him and it's not particularly realistic. George Thomas very nearly getting the opening chance of the game here with a header, but unfortunately not quite tall enough, which is certainly something that George Thomas hears quite a bit, unfortunately for him. Here's Grieve. Will lift it to try and ensure that it gets there to Bros, whose touch is decent, and down the line and into the middle, dangerous, but Mr. Tickle is there again. Rafferty. Let's see into Berry. Well, Rafferty's going. Come on, lad. Slightly overrun, was it? No. Grieve. Thomas at your feet. George Thomas. Oh, off the bar. Closest either side have come to a goal so far. Very nearly. And the keeper not taking any risks, just getting rid of it. Zach Jules just ensuring that we keep possession there and flicking it to anybody in an amber and black shirt that would have been in space. So close for George Thomas to the opening goal of the game. Oh, it's loose from Smith. Brophy will win it back. You find George Thomas, and here comes Luke Berry. And over there is Brown. Marcus Brown in the box. Marcus Brown looking for Grieve, who diverts it towards goal. But with those long wobbly arms, Mr. Tickle makes the save again, and we'll get a clean sheet so far and a goal kick there as the clearance came off the defender. Just a instinctive stab at goal there from Alex Grieve. We haven't had many goals so far this season from our strikers at all. So much so that I am contemplating buying a striker in January and sending Reyes Cleary out on loan. Alex Grieve started his time at Cambridge last year in the playoffs in electric fashion and started this season with a couple of goals as well, but they have dried up of late. A lot of my goals have come through my midfield players so far this year. We haven't had an out-and-out go-to goal scorer. We didn't have one last year either, to be fair. Gassan with 13 or 14, was it, in the league, which still isn't prolific. I think if we are to challenge for those automatic spots, I'm going to need that prolific goal scorer. We thought Grieve was going to be that guy with the way that he ended last season. Turns out Grieve might not be that guy, and we might need to splash some cash in January. If you have any suggestions for a brand new striker for the team, up to 68 rated, then do let me know. Nodge around the outside, little back heel. Zeno's going to come across here. Oh, excellent footwork. Humphreys. Zach Jules with a wonderful block. Huge man, huge interception. So we saw that Wigan don't take the lead here. They are going to whip it into the middle. George Nurse heads away. Caicedo brings it down. Dodgy touch. Finds a teammate though. And their left winger's at it again. Rafferty's in the way. And we'll just get rid. Thank you very much. I've got nobody up there anyway. And make some changes to try and force the issue. Cutting back nicely. Jules has to be wary of the runners. The runners have to be wary of Jules. Been rock solid so far in this game, Zach Jules. Continually, Diabate finds himself on the bench and not really able to break into the starting lineup. We might not be scoring many, but we're also not conceding that many either. When we do, they tend to come in flurries. So, I've not really found a reason to not play Zeno or Zach Jules so far to give Diabate that start. It's a great run by Luke Berry, this. From the edge of the box, looking to give us the 1-0 lead. He couldn't have come much closer without finding the target. To clear. Adams again. And Nodge. Well in, Zeno. It's not going to be time, is there? There's not going to be time. It's a 0-0 draw against Wigan. They are still winless in 13 games. Home fans booing for that result, which I feel is slightly unfair. They might be having a poor season, but they're still a good side. And I think it's a bit too much to start booing the team there, considering they're still giving their all. It just didn't quite go according to plan. We have a question from the press conference actually relating to a striker from Oliver Queen. It says, after being absolutely terrorised by Devante Cole last year, and as you're in need of a new striker, is he an option for those that you're thinking of bringing in? Now, if he were slightly lower rated, potentially, but I believe Devante Cole is slightly too higher rated for us to bring in. The moment he is, oh no, he's 68 rated. He's absolutely rapid though, so I would be in a more gameplay way rather than a realistic press conference way. I'd be slightly concerned that his pace might break the gameplay, but he is an option if we feel like we could justify bringing in Devante Cole. I'm not sure how good a season Barnsley are having. Obviously, after they challenged for promotion last year and we challenged for promotion last year, neither of us were able to get it. Barnsley, obviously a bigger club than Cambridge. They've only won 3 games this season and drawn 8. We've only won 4 games this season and drawn 4. So we're both having a similar season, ourselves and Barnsley. Drawing too many and not quite winning enough. Huddersfield are unbeaten so far this season still, but find themselves in second place in the division because Charlton just keep putting the ball in the back of the net and winning games of football. We've got 3 simulated games on the way now. Lincoln in the league as well as Swindon, and then Leyton Orient in the cup, and hopefully we can get ourselves back into the playoffs by the end of that run before we then have Blackpool. Lincoln with a defensive lineup, sat mid-table in 16th place, which is probably about where you'd expect Lincoln to be, really. They've got some quality, but no real obvious standout talent at either the front line or the back line, although TJ Ayoma is a player that has been recommended to us before, and I think I've mentioned that he's been recommended to us before in a previous highlight as well, to be honest. Fingers crossed, get ourselves a result here away from home against Lincoln. We could really do with the 3 points. It's another bloody draw. Kachunga gave us a 1-0 lead after 4 minutes. Cleary then missed a penalty 5 minutes later before Moylan equalised. Lincoln had the better of the play there. Another draw. We really are turning into quite the draw specialists so far this season, which is not the way to get yourself promoted, is it? Now then, question number 2 from the press conference actually talks about promotion as well. The kind of general commentary led to the first question, and general commentary there actually leads into this next one as well from Rick, that says, with the improvements to the squad, are there any prospects for domestic cup success this season, or is promotion the sole priority of the club? Rather evidently, given the fact that we're still pushing for the playoffs and can't quite get there, but desperate to get to the championship, promotion is very important. We can't really afford to let the club stagnate in League One. I don't mind being in the Championship for 3 or 4 seasons, potentially more, trying to get ourselves to the Premier League, but don't want to be in League One for more than 2 if we can help it. 3 at absolute most. Otherwise, we run the risk of constantly having our best players plucked from us and not really being able to progress. Although financially, we'll be in a much better spot when we do get to the Championship, but want to get to the Championship sooner rather than later. Swindon next. Swindon at home on this occasion. They've lost 3 of their last 5, and judging by the overalls of the positions in their squad, they don't look that strong. They're missing Blake Tracy through injury. We're actually going to miss Grieve here through international duty, which is a pain in the backside. So I'm actually going to have to back out and go and change that before we even get towards the game. So Grieve will come out and Cleary will start, and this is where he needs to step up, please. Elias Kachunga did get a goal in that last game, so we'll throw him in for George Thomas and see if we can get a result in this home game. Too many draws so far this season. Please, lads, pull me a victory out the bag if you could be so kind. Thank you. Cleary gets the goal on this occasion. Missed the penalty in the last game. Responds this time around, and 3 points for the Yellows. Good. Our unbeaten run is very strong. We just can't seem to put the results together consistently with winning, but we are now back in the playoffs. 8 points, however, off the top 2 for automatic promotion. I'd really like to try and avoid the playoffs again next season, but at the moment, it looks like we might be headed that way. However, in between us and there is a long way between now and the end of the season. Leyton Orient at home in the Cup, and then Blackpool away in the League. Obviously, Blackpool being a very difficult opponent, but we do have some ageing players. In gaming, B-Fly has noticed that. And he says, with Danny Andrew declining, will you look to sign a rotational left-back, especially in the case of an injury or poor form from George Nurse? At present, I don't think I'm going to look for a backup left-back other than Danny Andrew because, and you guys, I don't think on YouTube have seen this yet, Brophy can play at left wing-back. His tackling stats aren't superb, but out on loan, Adam Clarkson has grown up 7 to 65 rated. And he could very well, whilst he's not as quick as Brophy, technically, there's really not much difference between them at all. And I think, actually, technically, Adam Clarkson could be better. So I am contemplating recalling Adam Clarkson in January to play him, start him on the left, and then have Danny Andrew leave us at the end of the season. To be fair, Brophy may well leave us at the end of the season as well if his performances don't improve. It's probably going to be another tumultuous summer transfer window with a lot of players that are running out of contract, leaving on a free, and a lot of new faces around the place by the time we get to the start of Season 3, especially if we get promoted. Obviously, if we don't go up, then there may be a slight alteration in the tactic on that front, but I would very much like to get as many people in as we can. So I'm going to go and sort my squad out, and then hopefully we can see off Leyton Orient, and then see off Blackpool too. Leyton Orient are, I believe, in our division. They're starting a 4-2-3-1 there, also in the wing play, similar to us actually. But we have obviously our rotated 11 for cup games, although there are a number of players that are close to the starting lineup in that 11. And we lose to Leyton Orient. Simpson and Archibald on the score sheet for them. Cleary does get another one, so he's starting to put the ball in the back of the net in Simmers. But if he could start to do that in League One when I'm playing with him, that would be lovely, because I could really do with a few more goals. If if they start to step up the strikers, then maybe we will halt our plans for a potential new striker. But at the moment, I do think I want one still. Another 5-back in this division again continually. They've lost their last 2, but you can see from the average ratings they do have a strong squad. Lavery and Joseph up top are particularly good. Ollie Norburn in midfield is obviously going to try and run the show from in there. Ekpateta and Pennington at the back you'll be very familiar with. Hoping to try and put together a performance here away from home at Bloomfield Road. I might take Cousins out for Digby just for this one to see if Digger can still offer something to the squad. Jordan Cousins I'm thinking of letting go because he's slightly older. Digby has been at Cambridge for years now and it would be my preference to keep him considering he'd be of more use at centre-back as well rather than Jordan Cousins who really is only of any real use in the centre of midfield. At the moment, in fact, I have to keep playing Cleary. He's the man that's scoring the goals at the minute. It would be the realistic thing for him to maintain that starting spot. So he shall. Lavery. Joseph with a nice turn. Lavery again. Great footwork, great movement. Norburn trying to do the pulling the strings that we suggested that he may well do. And here he is involved again. Consider those strings pulled at the moment. Back to Ferrati and Lavery. Don't let him turn you. Joseph. 1-0 Blackpool. Inside 5 minutes. Couldn't get near them. Just kept the ball away. Excellent hold-up play. Excellent pass and move. Excellent goal. Yikes. That's a bit nasty. He's in trouble. It's a straight red. He's gone. Well, Blackpool from the front foot to the back one. Ferrati sent off in the 7th minute. There's just no need. None whatsoever. They got 1-0 up and then 2 minutes later they've gone and got themselves down to 10 men. His teammates will be furious with him for doing so. Can we get this to Cleary in the middle? Yes, we nearly can. Can Thomas win that? No. I was kind of hoping he'd actually go towards it and jump for it, to be completely honest. Well, will that actually see Blackpool fall more into a defensive shell and make them even more difficult to break down? 5 at the back was going to be hard enough to try and do anything offensively against anyway. And now if they've got a lead to defend with 10 men, that 5 at the back might become 6 or 7. It's loose. Very loose from Blackpool. When you've only got 10 men on the field, you can't afford to give away possession cheaply, and they've done exactly that there. They very nearly did exactly the same. Brophy looking to use his pace to get away here, which he's done really well. And the ball into the middle looking for Cleary isn't found. Nurse, though, has Thomas hit. Thomas has Berry. Berry will look to spin, and if he can, replicate the sort of finish that saw Blackpool take the lead, but he can't do it. Pateta tackled by Brown. Send him away down the line, Marcus Brown. Supports here. Cleary, help it on. Brophy. Oh, I thought he'd ballsed it up when he took the heavy touch. He hasn't. But there's no point wasting time. A point's not good enough at the minute. We want wins, not draws now, please. Brophy just getting there ahead of the goalkeeper. Thought we'd ruined that. Like, extra man, play the extra pass. We did, and then this first touch nearly absolutely killed me off. But thankfully slid in, lifts it over the keeper, and we do get the goal. I'd have been furious with him. Brown. Forward nicely. Thomas, Berry racing forwards. And around the corner. Marcus Brown in the box. Marcus Brown pull it back. Cleary! Very similar sort of finish to what Grieve did in the previous game. Similar outcome. Goalkeeper saves. No goal for the Yellers. Spins well. Berry. Thomas. Brown is there. Here's Rafferty. Cleary is available at the back post. It's who we'll look for. Can Brown win this header? Yes, he can. And then Thomas! Saved well by Grimshaw. I might try it. I might try Brown at cam and Thomas out wide and see how it works for the rest of this half. Thompson. Rafferty's read it. It's done well. There's that press, but actually they thought I was going to go to Digby and we didn't. Thomas looking for Brown. We have changed their position. At the minute, they haven't responded. Rafferty tried, failed. Thomas tried, failed. Cambridge tried, failed to win a game. Oh, but Rafferty's won it back again. Here's Brown and Berry and Digby's forward. Looking for Brophy. Brophy for a second! Cambridge United may well yet win this game against the 10 men. We've questioned James Brophy's contributions this season. We've even spoken in today's episode about replacing him on the left-hand side with the youngster out on loan. Brophy responds. Huddersfield score a late third through Jack Redoni in the 82nd minute against Salford. Huddersfield, another one of the sides challenging for promotion to the Championship, having come down last season. Charlton were top of the table last time we saw, but Huddersfield were unbeaten, weren't they? At the minute, unbeaten is enough to get them up, but not the title. I'm sure if they keep it going for the full season, then they should be able to top the table come 46 games played. Question is, will we be able to join them in the top 2 come 46 games played? If we keep winning games like this, then potentially, well, we very nearly weren't winning games like this then. Blackpool down to 10 when they were 1-0 up. It took a while for the result to come, but the most important factor is that the result has come. Cambridge 2, Blackpool 1. We are victorious in League One. The run of draws is halted. Boos again from the home side. This time it's not our own fans, but given the fact they went down to 10 men after 7 minutes, I think those boos are probably just for the one man. Peterborough were drawing 2-2 last I saw, so the gap to the top 2 should have halted a little bit, although Peterborough now down to 3rd. Was 8 points. It's now 7 points to Huddersfield in 2nd, who have lost a game, I've noticed, so they aren't unbeaten anymore. Charlton, with a 4-point gap then, up top on their own, the only side to make it into double digits, plus 4 winning games so far this season. It's a real shock in the relegation zone. Still see Wigan down there. Our next opponents at the beginning of the next episode will be Grimsby, who are also in the relegation zone. November is probably going to be a slightly quieter month. Still 5 games before, actually December's only 5 as well at the moment, although we will have FA Cup games drawn probably actually in November, so November might get a bit more busy. Grimsby, Exeter, Fleetwood, Barnsley and Stockport. Big episode tomorrow to try and build on what we've put together today with the win against Swindon and the win against Blackpool. The run of draws is over. Back-to-back victories in League One. We want to keep that ball rolling in the next episode. So do join me for tomorrow, and we will continue to try and force our way towards those top 2 positions. The lottery of the playoffs is not something we want to do again, because more than likely we will fail for a 2nd season in a row. Cambridge have done that in real life before, back-to-back seasons. Let's not repeat history there, shall we? That's all for today. Team spirit at Cambridge slumps? I don't think so. Back-to-back wins. We're back on the up again. See you tomorrow.